Imagine this. You are hiking in the mountains at the height of more than 2,000 meters. It has already been 7 hours since you started your trek. You are exhausted, you are tired, and you are following a path which is very narrow and very dangerous. Every step that you take, you think twice before it. Because you know that one wrong step would mean the difference between life and death. And then you suddenly notice that there is a stretch of path right in front of you that is so narrow that you are unable to cross it. You start to panic. You have stress, you're nervous, you're sweating, you're shaking, and you're unable to move, even though you know that there is no going back, and the only logical thing is to take that next step. That happened to me a few years ago in the June of 2014 when I dared to go to Polish Tatra mountains for the very first time with a couple of my friends. And to tell you how I reached that specific point where I couldn't move and what happened after that which made me move, let me tell you the whole story from the beginning. So we started our hike around 6 a.m. in the morning. It was me and 3 of my friends, and one of my Polish experienced friends planned the whole hike. And she, in her own words, said, it will take us exactly 8 hours of hiking, so prepare well. So I ate a very healthy breakfast. I took some water, I took some sandwiches, and I was super excited and ready to go and conquer these Polish mountains. So we started. The first few hours were amazing. The weather was awesome. You could see as far as your eyes could see. There was no cloud, it was sunny, and the views were absolutely amazing. The mountains, the lakes. I was having a lot of fun, and I was super excited, to the point that I was annoying the hell out of my friends by the amount of energy I had that day. Come on guys, let's go, come on, the peak is just there, let's go! While they were, shut up, we are coming! It was tough, but I was enjoying. And we reached our first peak, which is about 2,000 meters high, and although we were a bit slightly delayed from our original schedule, it took us more than 1 hour more than we predicted, but we were still sure that we will end up with 9 hours of hike at most. And then my friend came to me and said, Zan, the next part of this trek is a bit difficult. So be very, very careful. And I said to her, please, what are you talking about? Haven't you seen me? I will do it just fine. And so we went. And this next peak is actually one of the highest peaks in the Polish Tatra mountains with a height of almost 2,300 meters. And as we proceeded to get close to this peak, I realized that the last section of our path is actually quite steep. It's so dangerous that they had to put chains on the side of the mountain which you're supposed to grab and walk like this. On top of that, even though it was the beginning of June, and for me that's the middle of the summer, there was still snow on that path, which was, under the high temperature, was melting very fast, making the whole path extremely slippery. So we were very careful, and we were going in a line with all 3 of my friends in front of me, and I was in the last, at the 4th. And then we came to a certain part of the path, which was completely full of ice, and it was melting very fast. That means very slippery, with chains on one side. And at the end of this path, there was a curve. So you couldn't see where the path is going next. And as I saw all 3 of my friends slowly walking there, taking 1 step at a time, crossing that, and then vanishing through that curve, I thought I can do the same. So I started. I grabbed the chain as strong as I could, and I started to walk slowly, slowly, and then I slipped. Both my feet slipped at the same time on that melting ice, and the only reason I did not fall from that peak was because I was holding those chains. I was shocked. I had no idea what had happened. It was the near-death experience. Fortunately, there were a couple of other hikers coming down the path who helped me to get on my feet and helped me cross that strange area. And I went through that curve, and I managed to reach my peak. And I met with my friends there, and I told them, guys, I just had a near-death experience. And they didn't believe me. How can you have a near-death experience? We just crossed the same path. It's so easy. How can you have a near-death experience here? And I was shocked, and I didn't understand why they cannot understand the same thing. And I was no more than ever worried, what did I get myself into, and how will I get down from this peak and go back to my bed, which I really wanted to go at that point. And then my friend came to me and said, Zan, please stop complaining. We are way behind our schedule. We need to hurry in the next part, and just stop complaining and follow us. I said, okay. We continued. We started to go on this dangerous path one more time, holding those chains, and okay, I can. And then I was moving like this, every step, which meant that all my friends were far ahead of me, and I was falling behind. And this is when I reached that part, which was so dangerous that I thought I cannot move. If I will put my feet there, I will fall and I will die. And I panicked. I had a real panic attack at that point. I was shaking, I was sweating, I was holding the cliff, and I was not moving. And my friends were shouting that, come on, it's normal path, we just crossed it in front of you, it's fine, just put your step next and come. But I was not listening to them, and I was not moving at all. And in that moment, what helped me to actually take that step was the fact that one of my friends actually came back on the path and put his hand like this and said, Zan, hold my hand. I will take you across this path. Don't worry. I did that, and I crossed that path, and we still hiked for 5 more hours before we reached back to our home, and I have never been that exhausted in my life. Of course, I learned a few things from this whole thing. One is to be better prepared when I go to Tatra mountains again. The second is to never trust my friend who predicts that it will take 8 hours. Now I know that it will take 16. But last and most importantly, when I look back at this incident and see what happened with my near-death experience, which nobody else seemed to realize, and the panic attack that I had right after that, where I was unable to move, I think that's a very good metaphor for what happens to people in real life as well. Sometimes we have such kind of traumatic experience that leaves our whole confidence completely shattered. And you're not able to take even simplest possible step forward in your life, even though you know that that is the most logical thing to do. And in that moment, it's not the logical arguments or the rational thoughts that help you to take that step. It's actually a loved one, a close person, a friend coming to you and extending his or her hand and saying, hold it, I will help you to take this step. And who knows, maybe that helping hand and that single step could mean a new beginning for that person in their life. Thank you.